Chelsea are officially back. We have just seen another massive Premier League statement, smashing Crystal Palace 3-1 at Selhurst Park. The Liam Rosenior era is in full force, and honestly, the vibes are immaculate right now. We are breaking down everything we learned from today, from the absolute Estêvão Special to another crucial goal for João Pedro, and all the breaking Chelsea transfer news. But before we get into this video, my friends, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. Or if you have been following me for a while, you know the drills. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. It feels like that cloud over Stamford Bridge are finally parting, doesn't it? Taking 3 points at Selhurst Park is never a given, but the manner in which we dismantled Crystal Palace suggests that the Liam Rosenior era isn't just a honeymoon phase, it's structural shifts. We didn't just stumble into a 3-1 win, we controlled the narrative. Despite a shaky start, where Sanchez had to bail us out after Bayern error, we showed a level of tactical maturity we have been craving for. Watching Estêvão and João Pedro dismantle their backline felt like a glimpse into a very bright future. We moved back into top 5 today, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like we have a clear identity. And that brings me to the first thing we learned, the Estêvão Special. If you listen closely, you would hear the Palace defender's ankle clicking. We didn't just witness a win, we witnessed a coronation. The Brazilian has scored his first goal in the Premier League as a starter. And honestly, I think we all are a little bit intoxicated by it. Estêvão didn't just play. He took over Selhurst Park and turned it into his personal playground. He finished with a 7.7 rating, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 big chance created, 1 key pass, 4 shots, 2 on targets. For months, we watched Maresca treat Estêvão like a mean verse, constantly worried he would break if he played too much. Remember that Ajax game in October, moving him into the 10 to just limit his running, or pulling him at halftime against Arsenal because he didn't trust his defensive duty. It felt like keeping a Ferrari in a 20 miles per hour zone, but Liam Rosenior has taken the limiter off. Estêvão has been directly involved in more goals than any other Premier League teenager across all competition this season. A goal and assist this afternoon. The investment from Blueco is finally looking like a steal of the century. We aren't just talking about potential anymore, we are talking about historical impact. Estêvão has now scored 6 goals for Chelsea, the joint most of any player aged 18 or under for the club in the Premier League era, alongside Callum Hudson-Odoi and Maguire. Estêvão is the youngest Chelsea player to score an assist in a Premier League match, and the youngest since Neil Shepherd versus Wimbledon in April 1993. The way he pounced that covert error and left Mitchell in the dust for the first goal was pure Gareth Bale at Inter Milan energy. Then lobbed the assist to João Pedro, that's pure Brazilian soup. We have stopped protecting him, we have started unleashing him, and the rest of the league should be terrified. Which brings me to the second thing we learned, and that is the Liam Rosenior imprint. If Enzo Maresca was playing a slow, grueling game of chess, where we constantly fall asleep waiting for a move, Liam Rosenior have flipped the board and started playing a high vertical Tetris. We have officially moved from death by 1,000 passes to death by 1,000 prints, and I am absolutely here for it. When the lineup sheets dropped, we all held our breath. No Cole Palmer, no problem. Cole Palmer has a minor thigh issue, and there is hope he will be fit for Napoli on Wednesday. Without our usual get out of jail free card, we saw what Liam Rosenior imprint looks like. We lined up with a balanced, hungry 11. Sanchez, James, Chalobah, Bayern in defense, a midfield of Andrey, Santos and Moises Caicedo, an attacking 4 of Estêvão Williams, Enzo Fernandez, Pedro Neto and João Pedro leading the line. The magic happened in transition. We shifted from a stable 3-4-2-1 in build-up to a suffocating 3-2-5 in attack. The secret sauce, Cucurella. He wasn't just a left back, he was a midfield ghost, inverting into half spaces and making Palace 3-4-3 look like a disorganized Sunday League side. Cucurella was a one-man army out there, and the stats proves he has found his mojo again. He finished with a 7.5 rating, 12 defensive contribution, 2 tackles, 9 clearance, 5 recoveries, 4 ground duel won, 3 area duel won, 0 time dribbled past. Liam Rosenior isn't just changing the X's and the O's, he's changing the vibe. Before the match, he laid out his manifesto. You can't win game of football if you're not tough, if you're not demanding in terms of values. It's impossible. It's impossible. So it's being authentic, it's being yourself, and it's being true to yourself in the moment. But he's not kidding about the demanding either. He admitted, I've lost my voice a few times already in the past few days. Compare that to the end of the Maresca era. public spat with ownership, throwing players under the bus and presser. Liam Rosenior is a talker. The players are joking that they have never spoken to a coach so much in their life. But you know what? It's working. The wave of attack strategy is real. We used to hurt the ball for the sake of it, but now we use it as a weapon. While the XG battle was tight, Crystal Palace 2.58 to Chelsea 2.34. The reality is that we were clinical and purposeful. We had 57% ball possession. Instead of recycling it between centre-back 400 times, we were hunting for a vertical through ball. We created 5 big chances, and we looked like we actually enjoyed being on the pitch. We are no longer a collection of expensive individuals waiting for a moment of magic. We have a structural machine that moves with purposeful verticality. The honeymoon might be over, but the marriage between Liam Rosenior and the squad looks like it's built to last. Which brings me to the third thing we learned: the midfield masterclass. If the attackers were the rockstar, the midfield three of Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo and Andrey Santos were the roadies today, doing the heavy lifting, setting up the stage and making sure the show didn't fall apart. This wasn't just a performance, it was a total lockdown of the middle third. Andrey Santos was essentially a human shield. He spent 90 minutes making the center of the pitch a no-fly zone for Palace. He finished with a 7.1 rating, 91% accurate pass, 86 touches, 11 defensive contribution, 1 tackle, 5 interception, 3 clearance, 4 recoveries, 6 ground duel won. And while Santos sat deep, Enzo Fernandez was pulling the straight. He didn't pass the ball for the sake of it. He looked to hurt Palace. He capped his afternoon off by stepping up and burying a penalty in the 64th minute to effectively kill the game. He finished with a 6.9 rating, 1 goal, 1 big chance created, 1 accurate cross, 88% accurate passes, 2 shots, 1 on target. The real tactical chef kiss here was Andrey Santos. We have been waiting to see him explode, and it turns out he needed his old boss back. Liam Rosenior coached him at Strasbourg, where he was leading League One in tackles, and the chemistry is obvious. Rosenior famously likened him to Dunga, that Brazilian general who just made everyone around him better. Under Maresca, Andrey Santos felt like a spare part because he didn't fit the 90% accurate pass or a burst mode. But in Rosenior's wave of attacks, Santos is the unsung hero. By doing the dirty work, he allowed Enzo and Caicedo to push up and absolutely strangle Adam Wharton and Jefferson Lamar. We saw the result. Palace couldn't breathe. Even when Adam Wharton saw the red in the 75th minute, our midfield kept the boots on their neck. We are finally seeing a midfield that isn't just a collection of talent, but a balanced, terrifying unit. But moving on to the fourth thing we learned, and that is the João Pedro's resurgence. While Estêvão provided the samba flair that got us out of our seats, João Pedro provided the cold-blooded efficiency that wins trophies. We have spent years crying out for a clinical edge, and the 60 million man is finally making the price tag look like a bargain. After finding the win in our 2-0 win over Brentford, he made it 2-for-2 today. That 50th minute strike was just pure striker instinct, linking up with Estêvão and burying a low finish that basically told Palace fans it's time to head for the exit. He finished with a 7.8 rating, 1 goal, 2 shots, 2 on target, 2 successful dribbles, 1 big chance created. João Pedro has more goal involvement, 11, than any other Premier League summer signing this season. Under Maresca, it felt like João Pedro was told to stay in his lane, literally. He was used as a traditional number 9, mostly waiting for service. But Liam Rosenior unlocked the Brighton version of him, the mobile, terrifying forward who can link play, drop into the 10 and burn you in behind. His movement today was a tactical nightmare for Palace. He kept dragging their centre-back into areas where they didn't want to be, which left the door wide open for Estêvão and Pedro Neto to run riots. Plus, his defensive work rate is elite. He's leading the press like a possessed man. He's now on 12 goals in all competition, and he even won the penalty after the goal-bound efforts forced Calvert into a handball. We are finally seeing a front three that makes sense. Estêvão, João Pedro and Pedro Neto are giving us a vertical pace and technical skills that is almost impossible to defend. They rotate, they swap wing, and they never let the defense settle. It's the wave of attack philosophy in its purest form, and João Pedro is the anchor that makes it all work. And that leads me to the last and final thing we learned. Are we back? The 3-1 victory over Crystal Palace moved us into top 5 in the Premier League, marking a significant step towards achieving our primary domestic objectives, making the Champions League. Under Rosenior, we have secured 4 wins in our last 5 games, with the only stumble being that tight Carabao Cup semi-final against Arsenal. The real litmus test for our new era isn't Selhurst Park. It's Stadio Diego Armando Maradona this Wednesday. We are currently sitting 8th in Champions League table. A win in Naples would punch our direct ticket into the round of 16. If we sleep, we are looking at a congested playoff schedule nobody wants. But moving on to the latest Chelsea transfer news. We have just come off the back of that clash against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. And while the match gave us a lot to talk about, the transfer window is heating up behind the scenes. We are deep in the final week of this January transfer window, and I'm telling you, the recruitment team are not sleeping at Koba. We are talking about a player who just set the world on fire, a history maker. I'm talking about the Senegalese sensation, Ibrahim Mbaye. Now look at what the big man Florian Plettenberg just dropped. And this is the state of play right now. Several Premier League clubs would love to sign Ibrahim Mbaye before the deadline day. Chelsea and Aston Villa, for example, are closely monitoring him. However, PSG wants to keep him. A new contract is even possible. There is currently no thought of letting him go. The promising 18-year-old winger is under contract with Paris Saint-Germain until 2028. You see the levels we are talking about. 18 years old who is already a continental champion. If you weren't watching the 2025 AFCON, where have you been? Mbaye didn't just participate, he dominated. He becomes Senegal's youngest ever goal scorer in AFCON history, helping them lift the trophy. We are talking about a player whose profile has gone from a highly rated academy kid to a global superstar in space of a month. And I've been looking at the data, and honestly, the kid is a joke. He clocked at over 33 km/h. He's got the raw explosive speed that makes defenders look like they are running in the mud. He's fearless. He's ranked highest in percentage for progressive carries and successful take-on. He doesn't just pass the ball, he carries the whole team forward. Usually with young wingers, the ball is shaky, not Mbaye. He's maintaining on 84% pass completion rates. That's elite efficiency for a wide man. His right foot is clinical, but his movement, his ability to arrive late in the box. We know the Blue Coat strategy by now. We want the best under 21 talent on the planet, and Mbaye fits that like a glove. Liam Rosenior loves fluid wingers. Mbaye can play as a right winger or a left winger, or even through the middle. He's already played in the Champions League and won a major international trophy. He's ready now, but with a ceiling that is in the clouds. But here is the catch, and it's a big one. PSG knows exactly what they have. They have already activated his extension until June 2028. And they are viewing him as the future of Parc des Princes. They are saying no right now, but we know how Chelsea operates. If there is a gap, we are sliding. But let's talk about the now. Let's talk about the spine of the team. After watching that Crystal Palace game today, I think we all can agree we have the talent, we have the flair, but sometimes we have lacked the grown man energy in the backline. We have been crying for a commander, and it looks like the board are finally listening. According to Christian Falk over at Bleed, Chelsea has informed Kim Min-jae agent of their interest, with the defender on short list of centre-back targets as Bayern weigh up his future. Bayern are open to talks if Kim pushes for a move, but would want to recoup a significant fee after paying 50 million euros to Napoli back in 2023. At 29 years old, Kim Min-jae is in the absolute prime of his life. He's not a prospect, he's not a finished product. He's 6'3", built like a tank, and honestly, he's one of the most complete defenders on the planet. Even though he has been rotating under Vincent Kompany at Bayern lately, we know exactly what he did to win the Scudetto with Napoli. I have been digging into the numbers, and they are scary good. He might be big, but he's fast. He has been clocked at 33.4 kilometers this season, and that means if a striker gets past behind him, Kim is catching them. Get this, he's in the 99th percentile for completed passes with a 94.5 accuracy. He doesn't just hoof it, he breaks line. He's the primary progressor. He's winning 67% of his area duel, and we know how we have struggled with set piece and long throw. Kim Min-jae is the no-fly zone we need. Now let's keep it 100. Is he the same level of leader as Prime John Terry or even a Thiago Silva? Maybe not in terms of vocal shouting for 90 minutes, but he brings something we desperately lack: experience. Our squad is young, sometimes too young. We need a commander presence to organize the backline and demand standards from guys like Chalobah, Fofana. Kim Min-jae is proactive. He's an intercept and goal defender. He reads the game 2 steps ahead. Under Liam Rosenior, we play a very high line. It's brave, but it's risky. And right now, we don't have an insurance policy if we lose the ball. If we lose the ball, we are exposed. Kim Min-jae is the insurance policy. His speed allows us to squeeze the pitch without being terrified of one ball over the top. Plus, imagine a Koryu-Kim partnership. Left foot, right foot balance. Youth and experience balance. It's a match made in heaven. Bayern wants their 50 million euros back. For a 29 years old, some might say it's steep, but for a player who can walk into our starting 11 and immediately make us 20% harder to beat. I say paid. He's currently behind Jonathan Tah and Upamecano in Munich, so he's hungry for minutes. We have officially contacted his agents. The move is on the table. I'm curious to hear from you guys in the comments. Do you think Kim Min-jae is the missing puzzle, or should he be looking for someone even younger? But moving on, we have talked about the big names coming in, but we have to talk about the crown jewel at the club. You know how it goes. Whenever a young Chelsea player starts showing that elite potential, the vultures start cycling. And right now, the biggest vulture in Europe is knocking on the door of Cuba. I'm talking about Bayern Munich, and I'm talking about our very own Josh Acheampong. Josh Acheampong dropped a report that had every Chelsea fan reaching for their not for sale signs. Bayern Munich are showing interest in Chelsea defender Josh Acheampong, though Chelsea have no intention of selling the 19-year-old. Bayern are, however, looking to bolster their defense this summer, especially if they lose Upamecano and Kim Min-jae. Chelsea have not yet received an official bid for Acheampong. Now let's be real for a second. This isn't the first time we have heard this. Acheampong has been a name in mouth of every European heavyweight. Real Madrid checked, PSG checked, even Crystal Palace are looking at him as the man to replace McGeough. After their match against us Tuesday. Listen to me clearly. Josh Acheampong is Koba. He's proper Chelsea. He's been in our system since he was an under-8. We are talking about a kid who has worked his way through every level to get to the first team dressing room. I know Bayern are looking for a defensive rebuild, especially if they lose Kim Min-jae to us. But they can look elsewhere. We have locked him down on a long-term contract until 2029. And the board has made it clear, there is no intention to sell. We have spent hundreds of millions on talent across the globe, but sometimes the best answers are the one we grew ourselves. In a couple of years, we could be looking at a defense anchored by Koryu and Acheampong, two homegrown boys leading us into a new era. It's not a project for someone else to finish. He's our future and we need to keep it that way. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You go be.